Okay, so Ted is now assuming the position of a right foot forward rider. And so what my question to all of you out there is, have I had Ted change the edge that he would stand on at this point in time? And the answer is no. So Ted is still on an uphill edge riding that J over here to the right on a transverse line. Okay? So we fundamentally have introduced to you directionality, left and right. We have fundamentally introduced to you using the uphill edge, whether you be right foot forward or left foot forward. In one position, you will be looking up the hill, right foot. In the other position, you will be looking down the hill. But in both positions, you will be leaning, listen folks, listen carefully, you will be leaning up the hill. So that all of your falls are up the mountain instead of down the mountain, hitting like a fly swatter or a bag full of trash and mush that just crushed yourself. So we have taken you through a angular, directional phase of learning to board and kept you safe and kept you alive. Please try to do these things with the individual you're working with. Now, quite often, and I want you people, while you're on the mountain and you're training your friends, I want you to look around at the people that are in classes. I want to look at you, have you look around at the people who are training other people. And you will see that the fundamental posture, the athletic position is being broken by the hips, by looking down, folding, bending, all these things we just said don't do. And they'll go, oh, you're doing great, you're doing great. They'll hold them by the hands in front of them. They'll hold them by the hands while they're uphill. Everything will be going wrong. And there's a number of reasons. One, the snow is slippery, guys. Two, you're scared. Admit it. I am and have been, and I've never forgotten what it feels like to be scared. All of those things. Plus, my boyfriend's going to be mad at me. My wife's going to be mad at me. There's going to be a lot of wondering why I'm doing this, and a lot of feeling of, oh, I can't do well enough. Yes, you can. Everything that Ted and I have showed you today, you do every day. When you walk, when you turn, when you step, when you get up, when you bend down, body functions are what make you a rider to start with, and then you will develop them to a higher degree of understanding. So, with that, we're going to say, shred ahead, have a nice day. And this is a special going out to Kendall, who I taught last Tuesday, and I kept her on 2 uphill edges, right foot forward rider, and rode 2 uphill edges on day 1, all the way from the top of the bunny hill to the bottom of the bunny hill without breaking posture, and ended the day with the greatest smile of a 7-year-old that I have seen in years. So my wish for Kendall is that she continues to shred. I also told her in 9 years she could have my job. So shred ahead, stay with us, and understand that we are fundamental teachers, and we work beyond that, because all of these features we've shown you get complicated as you learn more about timing, development, all this other stuff. So thanks for joining us, and spread the news. Okay, so I'm going to go into a little bit about boots. Boots. All boots were not made for walking, unless you were Frank Sinatra's daughter. And those boots were made for walking. You liked watching them come, but you really liked watching them walk away. That was a better picture. And so that comes to movement analysis, right? Like you saw her come and go, wow, but you really enjoyed watching her walk by. Anyhow, things of the past. Ski boots. Now you wonder why I even have a ski boot in my hand, because tomorrow I'm going to try out skiing again to refresh my brain about where I started in snow sports, and it was about boots. I bought these boots, I don't know, 10 years ago probably, and haven't skied probably for 8 years because I really love boarding. But with ski boots, you've got to have a fit. I wear a size 12 and an 11.5 shoe, but on a ski boot, I wear a 10.5 for a boot that I can feel everything over the foot, up the shins, all around the foot, and I have solid responses like having a sports car with direct steering, everything happens. So that's a good thing. But then I got into snowboarding and I bought snowboarding boots. Gee, these are comfortable. They feel nice. Then they pack down and they get loose in certain places and they change the way they feel. And then I said, well, maybe I should wear a smaller boot because after they pack down, my foot's moving in and out. So all of you buying snowboard boots should be buying snowboard boots that are comfortable, but it doesn't mean like a slipper. That snowboard boot needs to perform the same as these ski boots. It needs to grip around the upper part of the shins. The foot needs to come in there and be with it. You don't want to have toe bang going on. You don't want the heel slipping back and forth. You don't want the feet to be able to move side to side. So again, what do? Well, after 30 years, I can tell you what you do. You find a shop that is a custom boot fitter. And for us in the local area here, that is none of the box stores, none of the box stores. Some of the shops, some fitting to some degree. But if they don't have all the machines for alignment, taking pictures of the foot, the profile, the skinniness of your ankle, the rolling off of an ankle to the inside, an outward ankle because of bow-legged, all of these things change the flatness of the foot and the direction that you can apply forces while skiing or boarding. So what did I do? Well, I took these boots that I've had for quite a while and I said a couple of things. Number one, get that out of there. I can open it up. It's a very stiff boot made by Ride with a very stiff tongue, etc. and a double bow lace system. So this is tight. Up in here is very tight. You can hear it. You knock on my head, you'll hear the same sound. It's hollow. But they put these little stupid R's on here that stand for Ride. My binding straps strip those right away. On this particular boot, which is Insano, they have this section right here that I'm pointing to with my hand. When my ankle strap comes up, it gets caught on this part here. I'd like it to come up into this area here tight. But what does it do? It hangs down here more. So what does that do? Well, that causes the binding to pull down on the foot here, but I've lost some leverage that I wanted up here. Because I want leverage on the shin, so when I rock and pull, this boot comes with me over the fulcrum that's running through the center of the boot. That would be the right side, that would be the left side. This is the high back, boom, pulls back. So the boot will collapse this way, but that doesn't necessarily help me with that ankle strap. So I have all of those issues there. So anyhow, in addition, on this boot, my foot is very flat in this area. So I had this flatness from here through here, skinny ankle, flatness in this area right in here, and I didn't feel contact with the boot. So what do? When I dress it, I push down on the tongue and the liner to try to close that distance there to get this down on the forefoot that I couldn't feel in this area here. And I still had the room. So I went to the boot fitter and said, hey, I want to fill that. So what did he do? He took this foam and he gapped me across there so that I have more material being pressed back into the boot to close this up. Now, where does the boot have a problem? Well, on the boot, inside the boot, we have this lace that they give you to pull on and pull your inside straps tight against that boot. So I pull and tighten it up a lot, and then I have to slide this piece down with a hole in it to the groove on the boot where it's going to snap in. Did you hear that? And now after it's snapped in down here, I pull it and pull it. And while I'm pulling it, I'm pulling this tongue back up that I just got through pushing down to hold the top of my foot down. So does that make sense? Because it didn't to me either. So what I found myself doing is, forget about snapping it in, because I want this piece to go as far down in my boot as I can possibly shove it without hooking it on that piece, and then I wrap the strap around the back of the boot, drop it in, and close it up, hoping to pull myself down in the boot till I get the performance that I expect the boot to give me that's very similar to this. And I'll say right now, without a question, 90% of the boarders out there do not pay attention to how much and where the boot and the liner is actually contacting the foot as they're trying to shred ahead. And because of that, you can't get the fineness, and you're not going to necessarily improve your riding if you can't improve your equipment for the need of your own body. Some of the rest of the people out there might have a really thick ankle and might need more room in there where I've tried to reduce room. I can't tell you, I can't answer this, but inside your boot, you know. And a great example is today, I stood on these ski boots today on top of two balance pieces where I could feel this and this. For years, this boot was always dropped in here because this ankle slides off. The instep was low. And I felt inside edges, inside edges. What I needed to feel were flat feet, because with flat feet, when I rolled the knees, I get equal edging. So the importance of edging on those is the same as a snowboard boot, except it's to the right, to the left, and right to the left. And we're only using one edge at a time, but it's critical that you understand the fulcrum underneath your boot. It's here, that's the center line of the board, and I'm moving across the board. So we're gonna say across the board, have a nice day. And you will if you learn how to cross the board. And that comes back to even Ted walking around the board. In fact, he crossed it when he walked around it. Yeah. And that's why the body followed. Feet steer, upper body is there to smile, avoid the trees, look at the girls going by on their board, whatever, but have a nice day. All right, so we hope that that helps. Start thinking about your equipment, and it starts with the boots. They always say, if the boots don't fit, you're gonna have a bad day. Whatever the second part is, I saw the sign today. It said something about the cost to improve your riding and your boots isn't cheap, but cheap cost is a bad deal. All right, so we're out on that. I hope this helped people to get focused on more than just putting a boot on, borrowing it from a friend, and understanding if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit, and it won't help you ride.